listening to AstroDetectives, where longtime friends Scott and Sarah try to debunk
or prove
the ancient practice of astrology.
I'm Sarah Hartshorn, the Astrologer.
And I'm Scott Randall, the Skeptic. Each episode, I'll give Sarah two natal charts. One chart matches the exact moment of birth for our mystery guest, and the other is just a red herring.
I'll use astrology to detect which chart belongs to our guest. And with a little help from my underground network of AstroDetectives, this case is as good as solved.
Oh, we'll see about that. Welcome, AstroDetectives listeners, fans, viewers on YouTube. You didn't expect to see us. We've been on a hiatus, but we're back. We've got a new case. Your Skeptic, Scott, and who else is with us?
Your astrologer, Sarah.
We took a little time off because we really wanted to work on the charts. One issue that we ran into again and again in the first two seasons was Sarah would say these two charts are too similar. And, because all we were doing was basically no overlap between the big three, and that was basically it, I think.
I gave you another rule. I said, I was wanting you to get Saturn in different signs just because I figured that's an outer planet. So if that changes signs, a lot of things will be in different places.
Mm-hmm.
You would forget about that sometimes. But I noticed that sometimes, often, the sun would be in the same house. And that made it a little bit hard sometimes. And some other things. So...
yeah, houses having the sun, both charts having the sun in the same house would mean that the sun is reflecting this same aspect of their life or something.
Well, it just gives an overlap where might be some focus in that both those charts. So I was contemplating this, and I also know that it was kind of a burden for you to you would always stress about trying to pull these charts. And I was like, it would be great if there was a way that we could just write a program. So I reached out to a friend of ours that knows a little programming. Shout out to Mikey. And he came up with a chart picker. I forget what the official name of it is.
I think it's the Mike's Astrological Chart Picker.
And I had a great name. We should have written down what it actually is. But yes, it's a great, and so I gave him some rules, some criteria, and I said, could you write a program that would we would input someone's birth date, like the guest, and then could you give me a chart from another, we're going to have it be the same birth locations, just in case that comes up in stories and stuff. But we're opening up the time a bit. The time can be different times of day, and a different birth date within, I think it was a 30-month window or something like that. And so the criteria basically is to get a different big three, Saturn in different signs, the sun in different houses. And then I had two other kind of more advanced rules, if we could. I said the chart ruler, so that's the planet ruling the ascendant. If whatever that is in the first chart, don't let that be that planet be in the first house of the second chart or on the north node. So basically the idea is so that we can accentuate different energies in these two charts. And I had a couple of other rules, but just to give you a taste of the thought behind what we were trying to do there. And I think it's working pretty good.
All right, yeah. And if someone is just joining us for the first time and all of that is very confusing, let me just mention that what we do on this show is we bring on a guest and we have two birth charts for us to investigate. And through a conversation with the guest, our astrologers will try to figure out which one of these two birth charts is theirs. The other one is made up. In this case, made up by Mike to be very different than our guest's actual chart so that there's not too much overlap. Because yes, I was running into problems when I pick a random chart. It was becoming very likely that it would have some overlap. So just random charts still usually have some overlap, but these are going to be very different charts that you can find on our website, astrodetectivespod.com, or this is brand new for Patreon members. Sarah, tell them what they get.
Yes, so we're going to set things up slightly differently. We're still going to post both birth charts on our website, but we're going to have the birth data. Are we posting the I don't think we're putting the birth data out on our website, but we'll give you a static, chart that you can download of each of the two birth charts. Um, However, if you would like to join our Patreon, for our Patreon subscribing members, we will provide the birth data of both the charts. So that way you can plug and play. So if you are someone who likes sidereal or Vedic astrology, or like something totally different than what we're doing, then gives you a lot more or you can pull like progressions, you can do all the investigating you want. So
Transits, is that progressions?
yes, or
Same thing?
no, they're different things, but uh, there's so many different layers and views and things. So yeah, that way, yeah, become subscribe to our Patreon, sign up for our membership, and you will get access to be able to plug and play.
Yeah, and then once you get the two charts all figured out in whatever way that you like to read charts, you can listen to the interview, which is coming up, and decide for yourself which one of these two do you think belongs to the guest. This all started with, does astrology speak to a person's personality and life experiences and all of that? And this is a fun opportunity to be able to test that. And so if you do that at home, you can test yourself. You don't have to tell anybody. If you get it wrong, our little secret. If Sarah gets it wrong, though, this is public knowledge.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
what's fun this year is I could get it wrong because I'm playing along, because Mike is making the charts for the first time ever. I don't know which one of the two charts we're looking at today is real.
Yes. And Scott, you came to me like about a year or so ago and you were like, I think we should have an astrologer come on who only knows or only wants to guess the sun sign, not even look at the chart. And I said, that's a terrible idea. No astrologer's gonna want to do that, to only know the sun sign. Um, but now you are that astrologer. You are the sun sign astrologer. You're at least familiar with the 12 zodiac signs at this point. And so you're going to be playing along based on your sun sign knowledge.
Yep, I'm willing to put my astrologer reputation on the line using only sun sign knowledge. Because mainly I wanted it to be a test against guests coming in with a little bit of knowledge. If they're going to know a little bit of information about astrology, they're going to know their sun sign. And I was concerned from a testing standpoint that that's going to throw off some of their answers to where they might, if there was any influence, they would lead towards what their sun sign was. So this gives us the chance to tell the difference between, like, what is somebody who's just looking at the sun sign, maybe picking up on some of those hints, and how much more effective is this deeper astrology, where you're looking at houses and all of these other planets and birth time and stuff. And we get to play around with that. So at home, you can also just play along with the two sun signs. And that would be, this time, we're looking at a Capricorn or a Virgo.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. And did you want me to talk a little bit about those too? Or what do you know about a Capricorn and a Virgo? Why don't you start?
Well, my questioning is going to be around, these are both earth signs, which I discovered with my limited knowledge. That means, they're down to earth, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. They're down to earth.
It's funny
But
because I would think a Taurus is like the most earthly sign, but they're not an earth sign. They're something else.
what?
But
Taurus is an earth
oh,
sign.
they are?
Yeah.
It goes Capricorn. Oh, okay.
Taurus, Virgo, Cap.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, we don't have a Taurus to deal with. We have a Capricorn and a Virgo. The Capricorn is associated with drive towards accomplishing big feats and maybe making lots of money, being capitalistic, big goals, and putting in hard work to achieve them. So I might be asking about our guests' career ambitions and how they approached some of the goals in their lives. And then Virgos, maybe a little bit more detail oriented. All the pieces need to be in place to be able to move forward. It's really annoying when something's not quite right, like one piece out of place. Both of them can be very step by step accomplishing their goals, but maybe Virgos are a little bit nitpicky and Capricorns are a little bit more big picture. How's that?
Yeah, I would say Capricorns are very enterprising, very much about hierarchy, and they're also very traditional. And Virgos are a lot more, I would say Capricorn might be calculating, whereas Virgo is analytical and really wants to, Capricorn would be like, Virgo would be like the helper to Capricorn, like Virgo really wants to help. They also love, they like to focus more on the details of a project. They like, an Excel spreadsheet, organizing data. Those things can be very satisfying to a Virgo, whereas Capricorn, you're right, is a little bit more like very ambitious. It's like the goat climbing the mountain and it just wants to get higher and higher and higher. So that's a very surface level recap of these two charts. There's a lot more.
I like to keep
to
it
them.
surface level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we bring our guest in, anything big that stood out deeper into the chart for you that you're going to pay attention to? Some glaring differences of a placement or two?
Oh yeah. Well, our Virgo has some things in their chart that tell me that they're going to be a lot more unconventional and unpredictable. And our Capricorn's chart is more about tradition and stability and predictability. So that's definitely something I would be paying attention to. Like, how unpredictable does this person like to operate?
Interesting. Because, yeah, the predictable Capricorn and the unpredictable Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we are going to bring our guest in right after this commercial break, and we're going to find out whether we have the Virgo or the Capricorn. We're going to see if we get it right, and then you at home can find out if you got it right. So hopefully you get your charts up, start making your little notes about who you think these two characters would be, and then see if our guest matches one of the two characters that you expect to find. Sarah, anything else before we take a quick little break?
No, that's
All
good.
right. We'll see you back right after this.
Hey listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today.
Welcome back, everybody. We are
Yay!
here with our guest, Kimberly Ann is joining us. Welcome to Astro Detectives.
Hello.
Hello to all of the listeners out there. They've got their charts in hand just like we do, and they're going to use our interview with you to try and guess the right chart, see if they're pointed in the right direction. One place that we like to start is with a couple general questions before Sarah and I dive in with our specific questions. So first off, can you just tell us a little bit about your career or work history, or just kind of what you've been drawn to do?
I've worked in I had a lot of warehouse work actually, and I worked with art supplies. I've worked in with embroidery machines, like big industrial embroidery machines. And I did a lot of inventory.
And
Okay.
anything about that that kind of drew you to it, or what is it about those roles that you found yourself drawn to? And if it wasn't anything in particular, or if you were just like the job popped up and I wanted to make some money, that can be a reason too.
I like to do a lot of quality control or analyze, like fixing things and kind of like, yeah, like it's kind of like an art for me, I guess.
Aha, all right. And we might get into more specifics with that, but moving on to how would your friends describe you?
Hmm. Yes, I would say that I was like intense or passionate and deeply emotional. Let's see, what else? I like nourishing others, like organic food, and yeah, a lot of like co-creative, like creating art together and things like that.
And and I guess sometimes it's like different people might describe you in different ways. Do you find that you have different relationships with different people and maybe a certain part of you comes out with one person versus another?
Yeah, like I can be really introverted, but sometimes I can get really like passionate and sociable, and then I can be a lot more like what's it called? Like a little bit more confident in like getting the crowd excited and getting people like
Get the crowd
going.
hyped.
Yeah.
And then our last general question is, what are some of your favorite hobbies? And this can include movies, music, books, or just activities in general that you enjoy. And expand on that as much as you want to.
Okay. I do a lot of like art and reading. I read about all the different kinds of subjects, psychology and different types of metaphysical studies. Lots of processing emotions is a big subject that I study. I did a lot of work in psychedelic harm reduction in the past. So I would go into different spaces and help people move through really like challenging states of consciousness or grief or different like traumas that they're experiencing. So that was a lot of the work that I did in younger years.
Mm. And that sounds like a lot of like the work that you do. Anything like hobby wise for, for fun, if you're, I mean, that can be fun too and rewarding.
Oh yeah, like
But
to like
if you're kicking back, is there something like a type of movie that you would put on, or a type of activity that just kind of like helps you just have fun?
yeah, I actually like to build and create things that I've been noticing. I like to build lots of like the furniture and different things that I've been doing lately. That's like really exciting to me.
Building
Um,
furniture.
yeah.
Wow. What type of furniture?
Just bookshelves. I made an art easel. Let's see, can you see it? It's over here. An art easel today.
Today. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What have we done today, Sarah? Have we built anything like an art easel? I thought that I was being productive. Okay, any follow-ups on those, Sarah, before we jump into our individual segments?
Uh, let's see. Did I have any follow-ups on those? When you were saying you worked with psychedelic harm reduction, it made me think, like, have you ever worked with ayahuasca or meditation retreats, things like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And is it okay? And is that something that you have done yourself or just guided people through, or
Yeah, I've
both?
done that myself many times and
Okay,
helped people, and a lot of like trauma informed kind of stuff, psychology, that kind of like analyzing in
cool.
spaces and bringing that up in spaces where that's not being talked about, and in public spaces too.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, we can get into some more questions.
All right. So we're dividing it up. I got 5-ish minutes to try and dive in with some questions, and then I'll hand it over to Sarah, and we'll see what direction she goes. Um, I want to go back to your like work and your motivation behind it. When you're like taking on a project, kind of what is your motivation regarding, starting it?
Oh yeah, there has to be like, I was thinking about that earlier, is like if there's like a good meaning or a good like intention with it, then I'll get really excited about it. And I've noticed that I won't even have the same reaction if there's not like a good like intention surrounding the thing. Or what is it? What's a different word I can use? Is um I don't know
Like,
a different word to use.
like it needs to, like the intention behind it, it needs to produce something specific, like it needs
Like
to,
an emotional, or like there's like a sentimental or like a passionate like intention that
You want to feel connected to it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And and does that like if that wears off, do you kind of give up on the project?
I can kind of wane in my energy when I'm or if I'm not feeling appreciated, because that happened at my last job where I didn't feel like my work was appreciated, because I do a lot of really hard work, so it's a lot to do if it's not appreciated, and then that kind of made me not as excited, I noticed.
Mm. Do you, so would you typically find yourself working with other people at your job or
I
jobs?
end up at like doing jobs that I end up having to do alone a lot, but I can work with other people, but I end up doing work that ends up being a lot of like kind of taxing or grueling kind of um
Manual labor?
yeah, or very detailed type of work I would end up doing, trying to, especially with the art supplies and stuff like that, because you have to do everything a specific way and have like things boxed a particular way and stuff like that.
Are you finding yourself doing it because nobody else wants to do it or because you want it done a specific way?
Oh, that's a good question. It can be both, actually.
Does no one want to do it because they know you're going to come behind them and be like, this isn't quite right?
No, probably it's too like, it's like the type of grueling stuff nobody wants to do.
Hmm. Um, so like it sounds like you work around the art community in ways, but it sounds like kind of behind the scenes, like art
Hmm.
supplies and organizing things. Can you talk
Mm.
about sort of your relationship or where you feel comfortable in relationship to the art world?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I guess it is kind of, I guess, more behind the scenes. I guess I get nervous about like being in the spotlight.
Mm. What is it about the spotlight that seems intimidating?
Like worrying that I'll like say something wrong or look silly. I guess that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
That I'll like embarrass myself or something.
Do you notice like when somebody else does that, do you see other people get up in the spotlight and then they do something that seems like they made a fool of themselves? Are you more likely to notice it and then therefore be kind of afraid of, oh, I don't want to do that?
Interesting. No, I always think like that whatever they're doing just seems like natural, even if it's like, even if they seem to feel like embarrassed, I'm always like, no, that seems like the right thing to be doing. I just don't know how to feel natural when I'm in that space.
Ah. Do you find yourself wanting to maybe uh, do your own thing in terms of like you've always been sort of doing behind the scenes and working with other people, but if you want the job done right, do you kind of feel like you need to be the one who's more the project leader, or managing the project, taking over?
I guess so. Yeah. And I can do that in a kitchen. I can end up like taking over. I've done that a bit before.
So like what's the experience there?
I can kind of see like how someone's doing something, and then I'll be like, I'll just ask them if I can do it, and they're usually like, yeah, yeah, and then I'll just.
So is walking into someone else's kitchen?
I mean, I haven't done that in like a long time, but when I was younger, I did do that a few times. But yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't disrespect somebody, but if it
I
was like
mean,
a situation where it was like my aunt, so she wasn't like weird about me saying something, but
a lot
yeah,
of people want someone to take over and start chopping or
yeah,
whatever. So,
that's more like.
all right, Sarah, I'm turning it
Okay.
over to you.
All right. Okay. So I wanted to see what you were willing to share about your upbringing and childhood. I noticed that you kind of on your survey said that you kind of rated it a 1 out of 10, and I was
Oh,
wondering, and just share what you feel comfortable sharing.
let's see. It was like an abusive environment, so my mom was an abusive person.
I'm sorry about that.
Mm.
Okay. And was your father's or did you have like a male figure
Yeah, my
around?
dad was there. He was always he was like the best person in my life. He was a good guy, and he was actually that was part of why I was worried about answering the questions because my dad had passed away a couple years ago. So I'm feeling like
Oh,
I haven't really been doing things my normal way. So then I'm like, oh, I wonder how that will like come through. But it seems to be
gotcha.
okay.
Okay. Well, we can move on from that. How about relationship partners? Have you had many long-term relationships? Are you in one now?
I was married for 23 years, and then we finally separated because that was also an abusive situation. So
Gotcha. Do you happen to know the marriage date offhand or?
I think it was 2000. We got
Mhm.
married 2000. Oh, it was 525.
525. Okay. I will. We forgot to include some of those date questions on our
Oh
intake
yeah.
form, so I just wanted to see if I could get any of those. Any children?
Yeah, I have a daughter. She's 22.
Okay. All right, can you share her birth date?
That would be 10/12 or oh no, December 10th. I
December
always get it
10th.
backwards.
Okay. And what year was that?
2003.
2003. Okay, great. And then and what does she like to do? What is she aspiring toward?
She's an artist also.
Okay. And yeah, you had mentioned like you're interested in art. Like, what kind of art do you like to do? Or is it painting or what?
Yeah, I do almost everything. I paint, I make, I do sculpture, I do like shamanic crafts. So I make like oils with little crystals and all
Ooh,
different herbs and stuff in them. And I make different types of crystal jewelry and things like that.
okay, cool. Are you somebody who people would describe as very uh, tending towards tradition and stability and uh, doing what is conventional, or are you someone who likes to
Sounds
be
like
more unconventional
yeah,
and unpredictable?
yeah, definitely.
Do you like to, I mean, you seem like such a nice person, but like people who you know well, do you like to push people's buttons?
Actually, no. I usually like to create safe spaces for people so they can feel comfortable, like expressing things that they have, that they don't know where else to share.
Okay, and then so how does that unpredictability come out or that unconventional?
Hmm. I guess like in my style and how I express myself. I think I'm more I like more conventionality in terms of like my routine maybe. And yeah, I have lots of like my rituals that I do every day and like taking care of the house and everything.
Okay. Do you have a lot of plants?
Yeah.
Plants. Okay. Oh yeah, I think you said you liked gardening and stuff like that. Um, so as far as food, you said you mentioned organic food. Are you Do you tend to like to eat the same thing every day? Are you really kind of like have your
I can,
comforts?
yeah, I can be like that. I do
Okay.
eat a lot of the same thing every day.
Okay. Um, but you are somewhat adventurous with food, or are you kind of picky?
Yeah, I like to explore all different cultures around the world and like the different foods that people will eat. So I
Okay.
can be explorative in that way for sure.
Okay. And are you a big reader?
Yeah.
What kind of books do you like to read?
I read all kinds of subjects like metaphysical subjects and different types of psychology and different um, uh, philosophy
Okay.
subjects. And
When you were growing up, was there a lot of movement, or did you kind of just did you just grow up in the same place and it was the same house the whole time?
yeah, it was mostly like the same place. We all grew up in California, but it
Okay.
was, yeah, always the same kind of place. So I was always like craving some kind of excitement.
Okay. And let's see. I'm probably running out of time here. Um, have you do you have what have you thought much about what your like long-term aspirations are? Do you have any like ideas brewing that you want to pursue?
Hmm. Yeah. I'd like to use my voice more and maybe like do some kind of like different type of acting work.
Oh, like what inspires you about acting? Because you said
Just
you
like,
didn't like to be in the spotlight.
oh, that's true. I like to do like different types of like character type of, I don't know, like my sense of humor, lots of like play on words and multi-layered type of jokes that I like to do. So I guess I can be, like I said, I guess I can be kind of sociable in that regard, but I do get really nervous when there's like a lot of people looking at me. Or like
Okay.
this attention is all of a sudden on me. I'll be,
Have you ever had any issues with your legs or thighs?
yes.
Okay. Like something that you needed to have treated?
Yeah, I had like a rupture in like a tendon that like just snapped in the bottom of my leg a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Um, any other health issues that you don't mind sharing?
I used to have issues with like autoimmune disease. So I was like in the hospital all the time and dealing with cellular issues.
Okay. And have you kind of recovered from that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I went on a healing journey and learned a lot about how the cells work.
Okay. All right. Scott?
All right, very informative. I love Sarah's questions. They're I never know where they're coming from, but then they're always
Right?
like painting such a picture. I'm curious, kind
Perfect.
of on that healing journey that you were mentioning. Has that evolved into like a daily routine that you find is beneficial for you? If you could kind of walk us through your day,
Hmm.
what does
Okay.
that look like?
That's actually, yeah, that's been helping a lot because I live by a wildlife reserve, like a pond. So I feed the birds and there's all the different types of birds and the hummingbirds. So that's the first thing I do when I wake up is I go out and I change their water and start doing all of the nuts and all of the things for the different birds and the hummingbird water and then the cats and then all their treats and so that's like my first thing I do when I wake up is get all the stuff ready for everybody.
They're counting on you.
Yep.
And then
And
and
then,
then you feed yourself.
oh yeah, sometimes.
But they come first.
Right. And then all the geese right now have babies, so they all come up and I always like watch for them and make sure that they get there. It's so cute.
So very like, do you think you're like in tune with nature? Do you prefer like the rural life over urban life?
Yeah, it's been helping me a lot being like in the flow of, nature more than like a schedule. When I had a job, it was like really stressful getting up at 4 in the morning and I was like really stressed about that.
Yeah, I don't think 4 in the morning sounds fun to anybody, unless the animals are demanding it.
Right.
Mhm. What is the difference for you between city life and country life?
Hmm. Just not waking up and hearing the cars constantly because I used to live by a really busy street, so it was like right next to my bed. My bed was like the street sounds all every day. So now it's just peaceful and you just hear the water tides and then all the animals. Basically, that's all I hear.
Hmm. Um, you were kind of talking about kind of on like a journey of, would you say that you are a seeker of information or spiritual fulfillment? Um,
Yeah.
on the survey, you put spiritual but not religious. Can you kind of
Oh
just
yeah.
describe what that means to you?
Yeah, I grew up with a really religious family because my grandparents are missionaries. So I had a very religious upbringing. So I was I just like went into my own kind of spiritual experience when I was in high school. I guess that's when I kind of went on my spiritual journey.
Were there any big signals that were meaning anything I mean that you're comfortable talking about, but that kind of led you in certain direction spiritually, or that made you kind of that kind of sparked your interest in one thing or another?
Hmm. I guess I was always interested in like different metaphysical subjects. So I had a lot of different types of experiences growing up that were hard to explain, I guess.
Any of those
So,
you're comfortable talking about?
hmm. I mean, I grew up in a haunted house, so.
Ooh.
There, that's what we're looking for.
So it was pretty wild. Yeah, you see things like fly across the room and stuff like that when no one was there and things like that. So it was very intense
So you
experience.
you would find things that had flown across the room, or
No, I would see
you
them
would
going.
actually.
Yeah, yeah. I've been with other people who have seen things like that too, where we're both in the room and nobody else is there, and something just flies across the room for some reason. And we're like, oh, that's strange.
Were these ghosts nice ghosts,
I
or what
didn't
is
get
it?
a bad feeling from the ones that I was talking about with the friend, but growing up, I don't think they were particularly like nice or anything.
Did you find like, did you get interested in like trying to research who could they have been? What could their business be?
Hmm. And I actually had random person give me a ride home who was like, "Oh, I remember the people that lived there," and she told me all about them for some reason. And I was like, "But why? This is so strange that she would even know that." And
And then you can go home and tell the ghosts about it and see if they relate.
right?
Like, I learned a lot about you today.
Yeah. Well, because I remember telling people about the ghost, and I said that it was an old man and he would wear a hat. And then that's what she said. She was like, I just remember the old couple that lived there, and he just was this old man. He would always wear this hat. And I was like, that's what I used to tell people about the guy, that he would always be wearing this hat. And I thought it was weird because I remember as a kid saying, I think it's weird that I saw a ghost, but that he was wearing a hat. Why would a ghost have a hat? I thought it was strange, but it was a weird confirmation later. So I thought it was interesting.
You always wonder, in the afterlife, what articles of clothing are you going to get to keep? And a hat?
Or what you're associated with, I guess, maybe, or it's like
I guess so.
left in the ether.
All right, Sarah, turning it back over to you. What do you got?
Oh man.
And then we'll do some quick follow-ups after
Mm.
that.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, so you haven't done as much, you said you haven't done as much traveling as you wish that you could.
Yeah,
Is that just for financial reasons or just,
right. Yeah.
okay. Where would you go if you could? What would be your number one
Hmm.
place?
I definitely wanted to go to Egypt,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Switzerland is a place, and Holland. There are three places that were on the top of my list.
Okay, cool.
Any quick reason for the three of those?
Egypt, I just feel like I have a lot of history with, and let's see, what was the other one? Holland. I just grew up with somebody I think from Holland, so I always wanted to go there.
And Switzerland?
Switzerland. My dad had traveled there, and he said it was one of the nicest places he'd been. So.
Um, so you had said on your intake form that so we have this one question I love. So if you're working on a project and a member of your team is not contributing their fair share of work, how would you best describe your initial response? And you said you'd be frustrated, but you'd probably just deal with it for as long as you could. What is
Mm,
the motivation behind that? Is it not liking conflict or
yeah, not wanting to create more drama and more stress, and just, well, I'll just do the thing, or
Mm. Is that do you find kind of a theme like do you like to avoid conflict?
no, because I think I was just thinking, if somebody has an attitude, though, I'll let them know
Okay.
that I'm not gonna do it, and that you need to have a better attitude, because I can like get involved in situations where like I can get involved in conflict a lot. So like public conflicts, I'll get involved in. I'll mediate and just show up and just get involved and be like, okay, and start talking to them, and they'll be like, whoa, who is this person? But I know how to. I don't know. I can watch what's going on, and kind of help people orient in situations like that. So that's been a thing that I've been good at.
Okay.
So while I
Uh,
do avoid conflict, I'm confused. I'm concerned, like trying to think about what type of conflict I avoid. Maybe it's more personal because I don't mind getting involved in other people's stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
hmm. How do you handle big emotions like anger, sadness? What is your do you have how does your anger come out in your sadness?
Hmm. I cry a lot.
What's the kind what gets these emotions going?
Hmm. I can have a lot of big emotions. I guess like feelings of loneliness, or um, hmm, not feeling like confident in my position in my family or community.
Okay. And um how do you handle anger? Do you try to suppress it or does it come out? Is it explosive?
I usually will try to suppress it, but yeah, it can be explosive.
Um,
I have to
okay.
learn a lot of like different mindfulness or like breathing techniques and stuff to deal with certain emotions when they come up.
Have people told you like, hey, you really caught me by surprise with that burst of anger?
Mm, I don't think so.
Okay. Not really. Okay. Um, have you ever struggled? I mean, again, you don't have to answer this or go into much detail. I'm just trying to get a sense. Have you ever struggled with addiction of anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something. Is that something that you try to help other people with too?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I guess when it comes to like when you're talking about if it's explosive, and guess people aren't surprised by it because I'm usually willing to talk when I notice myself feeling getting
Hmm.
triggered. I'll usually say out loud how I'm feeling and talk it out and say, "Hey, I'm feeling really like upset about this," or "Hey, this is actually starting to kind of upset me." So usually by the time the anger can be explosive, it's usually something that has been said numerous times.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's usually not usually very surprising, I would assume.
Are you the type of I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Do you come up with like a lot of different ideas constantly of things you want to do, but maybe just ideas and kind of like don't always pursue them?
Mm-hmm.
You're an idea person?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Like
books and books and books of just writing of ideas, but yeah.
okay, okay. Like for like businesses or projects or
Everything, yeah.
um are
Lots of
you
art projects.
let me get in one more question. Are you someone who's very pays attention to politics? Do you get real passionate about that subject?
I think I used to, but I think that I got kind of disillusioned over the last few years, so I don't pay attention as much anymore.
Okay. Have you studied different religions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna do just a couple rapid fires and then turn it over to Sarah for a couple rapid fire follow-ups, so you don't have to expand too much or anything. But would you say you're the type who rewrites emails multiple times before sending?
Ooh,
That's
yes.
a good question.
Yes, definitely.
Um, do you think you would rather be respected or liked?
Ooh.
Respected,
Interesting. Okay.
liked, interesting.
We kind of talked about your enjoying or your work kind of being behind the scenes, but also having that desire for being in front of the camera or acting. Would you say you would rather be behind the scenes or front and center?
I
Even
would
though,
rather be behind the scenes.
okay, okay. Do you kind of get irritated when other people are disorganized? Do you find that popping up?
I think it depends. Not if they're if I have to deal with them, then I guess so. Or like if plans are very disorganized for certain people, I've been annoyed about that.
And I think it was on the survey, but how do you handle that frustration? Do you confront them or do you kind of internalize it?
Oh, I would probably internalize it. I would talk about it. I think it depends on the person and if I know them well enough.
Okay. Are you focused more on like the process or the end result?
The process.
All right. And let's see, last but not least, um, if you're not being productive, obviously nobody feels good about that, but what is the feeling that isn't good about not being productive? Is it kind of you're more self-critical or that you feel like time is being wasted and that's frustrating?
Yeah, that is how I felt. The time was
Less,
being wasted.
okay, interesting. All right, I have enough information for myself.
Okay.
Sarah, what follow-ups can help you with deciding which way you're leaning?
I guess I would ask when you get in, I feel like I know the answer based on like how you've talked about your work and stuff. Are you the type of person that is happy being I mean, you talked about like doing a lot of stuff alone. But I get the sense that you work more in like a supportive role, like you're doing things. Have you ever wanted to climb the ladder, or are you very achievement focused? Or
Not really. I actually was like, when I would work, I liked to work really hard, but I didn't really like moving up
okay,
as much.
okay, all right. Well, I feel like you've answered a lot of gave us a lot of valuable information on your survey and everything else that you provided. So I can't think of any more questions at the moment.
Okay.
I think it was on the survey, but can you remind us if you have sort of a big life philosophy or any kind of motto that you live by? And does anything jump to mind that is kind of expresses how you know, look at life?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if I can think of anything aside from like processing emotions is like a big thing and always has been, I guess.
Yeah, don't run from them, process them.
Right?
I thought of
Exactly.
I thought of another question. I'm just trying to think how to phrase it. Are you more concerned or think about um like material stability or survival needs, or are you do you occupy your mind more with um like uh thinking about spiritual things and being a seeker and things like that?
Right. I would say for the last few years, I have been very survival minded and processing a lot of heavy stuff. But like in the last this year, I feel like a lot more open and wanting to get more into the spiritual side of things and in my spiritual practice with other people.
Okay. So when your survival needs are met, you're not as focused on them. You're more
Mm,
okay. You're more interested in like uh the spiritual seeking and things like that.
yeah,
Okay.
creating more. Haven't been
Creating.
creating as much, so that will be that's exciting to.
I'm curious if you have any advice on processing emotion for our listeners and for us, the hosts, that you found on this journey.
Oh, that's a good question. Um, well, a lot of it is like dealing with covert kinds of stuff. That's actually been the focus for the last decade in the marriage that I was in, and dealing with other people and like just paying attention to how you feel when you're around somebody is a big thing because sometimes people don't notice that somebody makes them feel uncomfortable or is like doing something weird. Has weird kind of like energy towards them.
So being in touch with how you feel in different situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Um, well, I think you've given us a good amount to work with. So this is where we take a quick little break and put you in the
Okay.
waiting room.
Okay.
We kind of confer, come to our conclusions, and then we bring you right back in and we find out if we were right or not.
Okay.
So you got time to take a quick little break and then we'll see you back
Okay.
shortly.
Okay.
All right.
See you.
Once I can figure out how to put you in the waiting room. Here we go. All right. See you soon. All right, Sarah. Here we are. It's our first huddle with Scott and Sarah as the ones who are here to make the decision. Are we looking at a Capricorn or a Virgo? Were you on the fence? What was your experience like coming into this? Were you waffling? Did you come in with thinking one thing and have your mind changed?
Well, I feel like, I mean, this always kind of happens to me as I start to favor one chart and then, I'm trying to see based on what she says, is that consistent with this chart? But that always gets me into trouble. So I'm always kind of like checking out the other chart. Um, you know, sometimes, yeah, like things show up differently. I don't know. I'm rambling, but it's just because I get nervous. I enjoy it. I want to feel validated that like it's one chart to me is standing out more than the other. But
Great, because I have written mine down. Have you written yours down?
yes.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Let's hold them up so nobody's copying off anybody.
Okay.
Scott is just going off of his very limited astrology knowledge.
Okay.
And I have picked. Oh, we picked the same
Oh, yeah.
one.
All right.
All right, so
Virgo.
Scott and Sarah are both leaning towards the Virgo chart, ladies and gentlemen. If you're out there and you picked the Capricorn, who knows? You might be right. We might be wrong, but we were led in a different direction. Sarah, I mean, just based on a lot of things she was saying, she just seemed to be talking like a Virgo would talk. But deeper than that, you were finding things that lined up for you.
Well, I feel like one thing I was really focused on was the Virgo chart has a Scorpio moon in the 12th house, and it has its ruler, Jupiter, in the 12th house. So not only is there a lot of 12th house themes, which can be the 12th house can be kind of a place that has to do with working with psychedelics, working in, she said, I think she said something about I work in a places that are kind of like by herself, like a warehouse or a place that you don't really see from the public side. And that's very 12th house stuff. The stuff about working with like ayahuasca or meditation retreats, very 12th house stuff. But then there's a lot of isolation themes with the 12th house too. And that's very Scorpio. Um, so I was feeling a lot more this chart. It also has a Sagittarius rising with Uranus in the first house conjunct Mars, and that Uranian energy is very unpredictable, whereas our Capricorn chart has a Taurus ascendant, and is really about what's predictable, what's familiar. It's very focused on the material world, and with that Capricorn stellium, that's someone I feel that would just be very about practicality, the material world, and she just feels like a very dreamy presence to me. Now, the one thing about this Capricorn chart is it has its ruler Venus in Pisces, you know.
There's always something, right?
Yeah, but I don't feel like, you know, that is she's not giving me enough Capricorn and Taurus to justify that dreamy Pisces, Venus Pisces energy. And I will say last season, the one thing I was just consistently noticing that is to pay attention to like health issues, because I find them to be very like when I would be wrong, I was going against whatever they told me with the health thing, because that was like an outlier to me and it wasn't matching with how I was like psychologically analyzing their chart. But I should have asked her if she had any like throat issues. I just said, do you have any other issues? But Sagittarius risings often can have like issues with tendons in their legs and things like that. Taurus rising a little bit more susceptible to throat issues. So anyway, just a little clue, another reason. But yes, she was giving me Virgo because Capricorn is very about being an enterprising person, about tradition, hierarchy. She didn't seem like she was very interested in moving up the ladder. And that Capricorn has a Sun Jupiter conjunction on their midheaven. So to me, that would be a more enterprising person.
Aha.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I definitely felt like she was organizing. She was behind the scenes. Yeah.
You asked some good questions there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always interested where the conversation's going to go. So let's find out if we were talking to a Capricorn or a Virgo. I would love to get my guessing career started with a nice 100% accuracy. So I'm rooting for both of us today.
Okay,
Sarah.
this is totally such a different feeling.
But you know what? I'm not going to be too hurt if she's the Capricorn either, and I start off at 0%. All right, well, let's take a little break, and right after this, we will be back with Kimberly, and she's going to tell us which one she is. And if you at home are correct, make sure you log your guesses now before it's too late. Right after this.
Hey listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today.
Welcome back, everybody. Sarah and I have had our little chat, compared notes. Sarah had a lot more notes than me. You know, I am but a beginner, and I still was able to make my informed decision, and we both come to our conclusions, and we're here to find out which one of the two charts we're looking at belongs to Kimberly. Do you go by Kimberly or Kimberly Ann?
Kimberly Ann.
Kimberly Ann. All right, so we were choosing between a Capricorn and a Virgo. So our audience hopefully has made their selections. And Kimberly Ann, can you tell us, are you a Capricorn or a Virgo?
I'm definitely a Virgo.
Woohoo! Oh God, thank God, astrology works.
I was like, I probably chose Virgo.
Well, I have started with one guess so far, and I'm at 100% accuracy. So I just want to say that you don't have to study astrology for very long at all. You can just host a podcast for a while and just
yeah,
and then you can just be more accurate than any of our guest astrologers. Granted, that could change next week.
Yeah.
Real quick, Kimberly Ann, is there any place that you'd like to send our listeners, our viewers, whether it's some projects that you're working on or any causes or just any activities or things you'd like to recommend to our audience?
Go out. I would actually like to suggest for everyone to go out in the nature. It's beautiful.
I agree.
All the wildlife communities there's plenty out there to learn about.
Yeah, there's so many things pulling us towards our screens that sometimes it's nice to step outside and breathe some fresh air.
Yeah.
And even it's good for our eyes to look at things that are at least, 30 meters away. I started reading glasses, and I feel like, screens have been destroying my eyes, but getting that depth, looking at something in the distance is so good for your eyes.
Yeah.
So I would like to second your suggestion.
I will third it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sarah, are we plugging? I don't know. You've been in the ad breaks too, but if you want to remind everybody, because you've had a change.
I
Actually.
have a change, yes. I've sort of changed the name of my business. I'm talking me, formerly My Cosmic Coach, but now you can find me under hartshornastrology.com. Either will still take you to the same place, but I have a variety of different readings you can purchase from me. My favorite, of course, though, is to blend astrology with human design, and I love doing blueprint readings for people. I also have some options as far as synastry, or if you want to know about your year ahead when you've had a birthday, we can do that too. Or even if you just have one question, I even have that option as well. So find me at hartshornastrology.com.
How much is one question?
I think you put me on the spot. It's like 50 or 60, something in that range. Something a little bit more affordable.
So it's a detailed answer to one question.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I think I said I'd meet with the person for like 20 or 30 minutes, but if they just want to focus in on one thing.
I like that too, the adding them together. And I just know I'm a manifesting generator, but I forgot all my numbers. I have my chart all written out somewhere.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Well, I am
The
also
Gene
a
Keys book.
Yes.
manifesting generator, so I got to manifest the end of this show real quick.
Thank you guys. This is cool.
Well, hold on for us because we're going to do this debrief. But for everyone else, that's it. Let us know what you thought by commenting on whatever platform you follow us on. Links to our accounts are in the show notes. If you like the show and want to support it, you can visit patreon.com/AstroDetectives, where this conversation continues on the Patreon-only debrief. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss the next episode. Rate and review, and tell your friends. And until next time, this case is closed.